I should probably start by acknowledging that we are late to the party reviewing Dash Dash World, despite the fact that we previewed it when it was still in beta. Following a lengthy beta testing period, Dash Dash World released onto the Quest Store back in October of 2020 and has subsequently become one of the most regularly updated titles on the platform. Now, with version 2.0 recently released, it seems as good a time as any to take this plucky kart racer for a test drive. So rev up your engines as we find out if this comical kart racer will take pole position in your library or spin out of control at the final turn and leave you vomiting into a bucket of your own shame. In this reviewer's opinion, it may well be both. Dash Dash World is a go-kart racing game set in a world of seizure-inducing color and Japanese-style wackiness. The tracks have a quirky and fun style of their own, but pay homage to the seminal Nintendo title that it seeks to emulate. We don't exactly get Rainbow Road, but we do get a stretch of brightly pastel squares that aren't exactly trying to hide their influences. You pilot your kart at breakneck speeds around an assortment of zany tracks, picking up weapons and other useful power-ups as you go. There is an array of game modes from a single-player career progression to a full multiplayer Grand Prix. Still, essentially the core gameplay stays the same. Drive fast, avoid the giant llamas, and shoot eggs directly from your chicken gun at anyone who dares overtake you. Dash Dash World is a light-hearted extravaganza of a racing game. Each of the 11 courses offers a highly stylized circuit to race around, strewn with unique obstacles and an assortment of power-ups. The controls are intuitive and easy to use, allowing even first race beginners to see a winning run not too far in the distance. As you familiarize yourself with the mechanics, the subtleties and nuances begin to stand out, and the fun starts to deepen. Within no time, you'll find yourself feeling like some kind of anime racing god as you begin to navigate the courses with merciless precision. The drift mechanics are particularly excellent. The thrill of accurately judging the line of a corner and drifting the whole way around is one of the most satisfying elements of the game. Additionally, drifting charges up your boost meter, which gives you an added incentive to use the mechanic. It really is fun. Taking a long drift through a turn only to boost yourself out into the straight is one of the coolest elements of playing Dash Dash World, and worth playing it just for that sensation. The controls are fully customizable, but the default setup is more than adequate. The only real question here is whether to play immersive or stick, although both options prove just as viable as the other. The stick method utilizes the thumbstick for steering. It's an entirely serviceable system, if lacking the depth of experience that one would hope from a VR title. The immersive option, however, allows you to put your virtual hands on the wheel and actually drive the kart with one hand while fending off foes with the other. As far as I'm concerned, this should be the standard mode in pretty much any VR racer. The only downside to this control scheme is that an ache can start to creep into the shoulder after a while, but such is the price one pays to be a top athlete. From comfort options to in-game controls, from avatars to karts, there is a fantastic amount of custom options available in Dash Dash World. For a game in which all replayability is based on players enjoying the core mechanics, this gives a much-needed incentive to keep going. While I found Dash Dash World to be a completely compelling title in the single-player mode, it should be noted that there is also an active online community. I tried the multiplayer mode at various times and never struggled to find a match. What's more, I found the people that I encountered to be generally respectful and overall far less squeaky than one might expect from a cartoon racer. It's also really easy to add people and party up with your contacts, so there's plenty of fun to be had competing with friends. This could be over a single race or an entire Grand Prix series. For many, the competitive and social aspects of Dash Dash will no doubt be the features that keep them coming back time and time again. As you race around the variety of treacherous tracks, you collect mystery item boxes. These equip you with wacky weapons and boosters, all designed to give you the edge over your opponents. They range from eggs which obscure your victim's view and honey bombs that slow racers down, to novelty teeth that prevent enemies from using their own devices, and everything in between. Each of these items appears at the side of your cockpit, and you can store up to 2 different items. They are activated by reaching out, grabbing them, and physically throwing or shooting them. This immersive component should be a significant advantage over Dash Dash World's flat-screen counterparts, but for some reason, it just isn't. Don't get me wrong, it's functional, and it's kind of cool, but the truth is that using the weapons is the most underwhelming part of the Dash Dash World formula. Whilst each individual weapon serves a unique purpose, none of them really seemed that useful or exciting. I remember the joy I used to experience so vividly when I would get the red shell in Mario Kart, knowing full well that it would probably be my key to victory. Dash Dash World undoubtedly offers a comprehensive arsenal, but there's just nothing in there that had that same ring of satisfaction. This is even more noticeable when compared to Mini Motor Racing X, where there are much fewer weapons, but they feel far more impactful. I found that I barely used my weapons in most races, focusing instead on the drift and boost combo and only resorting to the weapons as an afterthought. Dash Dash World is a good-looking game that utilizes a heavily stylized cartoon motif throughout. It is excellent in the context of this game. Each of the game's 11 tracks are uniquely themed, transporting you from a traditional racetrack to a course inspired by a Japanese garden and onto a fluorescent Day of the Dead style piece of Mexicana. There are also extreme tracks, which twist and loop impossibly and seem to be made with the sole purpose of making you want to pass out. Each of the tracks is bright, vivid, and seemingly made with the sole unifying premise, imagine if a rainbow threw up. I for one like it. At times, the graphics seem wasted as the players are too focused on following the line of the track to take in the vistas. There are also other times, usually during incredibly winding stretches, where it felt like the devs were counting on that fact and really didn't put that much effort in at all. That said, this is a very minor criticism. All in all, the game looks good and artfully achieves the desired effect of making you feel like you've stepped inside a cartoon racer. The audio components are not quite as good, although not by much. The music and sound effects are appropriate, but don't really stretch the imagination. The bleeps and bloops that indicate one wacky weapon or another being fired tend to mash together with the nondescript video game music and the engine's pervading hum. It all results in a generally muddy soundscape. It doesn't detract from the game, but I don't think it adds as much as it could have. The spatial audio felt quite lacking, and I struggled to get a sense of where players were relative to my own kart, or from which direction projectiles were approaching. This is a real missed opportunity, as there is no rearview mirror, and turning around to check over your shoulder is a quick recipe for motion sickness. It would have been brilliant if you could hear an opponent approaching and pinpoint their position. I would have loved to have leveled a solid whack with the frying pan without looking, basing my aim on sound alone. There is another reason that our team have not yet covered this popular Mario Kart clone, and it's probably worth mentioning. We have struggled to find someone with the VR legs for it. Despite the Writer's Lounge being peopled by the VR equivalent of grizzled, cigar-chewing war veterans, Dash Dash World has taken a few of us to our limits of acceptable discomfort. Dash Dash World clearly understands this and throws almost every conceivable comfort option into the mix. However, it still can be a bit of a hard slog. Just for context, I have spent hours barrel rolling my way through Star Wars Squadrons and backflipping through the dance of death that is Sorrento Untethered. Still, Dash Dash World is in another league. Mini Motor Racing X went as far as adding a third-person view for those who struggled, and this feature alone would have saved it from countless refunds. I can't help but think that Dash Dash World would have benefited from adding something similar. To finish this review, I had to play in short bursts, managing about 30 minutes per session before needing to take a break, despite taking advantage of the lavish swathe of in-game comfort options. Dash Dash World is a fast-paced, action-packed kart racer that will provide hours worth of entertainment for those who can handle it. The core gameplay is the epitome of easy to learn and hard to master, owing mainly to its familiar heritage. It provides a nuanced and enjoyable racing experience that is quite simply fun to play. With intuitive controls, a range of tracks and game modes, and a thriving multiplayer scene, Dash Dash World comes close to brilliance. However, due to a few niggling issues and a penchant for inducing nausea, it just doesn't quite manage to capture the magic of the Nintendo classic that served as inspiration. 7.5. Sick. If you're enjoying the channel and would like to stay up to date when new content arrives, click the subscribe button now. Also, don't forget to hit the like button as I lap you. Again.